What's up, Maniacs? My name is Mex. I'm a wrestling fan, a wrestling enthusiast, a WrestleManiac, if you will. And today we are discussing WWE Smackdown, and it was the debut of WWE Thunderdome. This was the Amway Center that has basically been taken over by WWE on like some type of long-term residency, at least for the next couple of months. And before we get into the results and reviews from the actual Smackdown show, we're just going to talk a bit about the Thunderdome and the experience for all. So if you want to hear my thoughts on that, stay tuned. Right here at WrestleManiac UK, I discuss everything that is WWE and AEW. So if this sounds like the place for you, make sure you hit the subscribe button and click the notification bell so that you get notified every time I drop a new video. Ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, let's get into the review. So, WWE Thunderdome. Like, it was nice to be back in an arena and for the superstars to probably feel like they were being watched by people performing, because obviously that's the lifeblood of what they like to do, it's what they love. So it's good for them to have that feeling. Pyro was nice, but to be honest, I felt it was a bit underwhelming. Like, there's loads of people there, loads of screens everywhere. You can't hear them, so they were piping in like fake audio, fake celebration, fake reactions and all that kind of stuff. Some screens weren't on, like some people's screens were like black, maybe their bandwidth or something dropped and you know, their internet connection is not as good as others. And then when some big things happened, like we'll get onto, there was an Intercontinental Championship win for Jeff Hardy. There was like some fans that were celebrating, that looked alright, clapping. Others were just staying still, like nothing had just happened. Maybe their feed hasn't caught up. So it doesn't really look the best. If I'm being honest, I think I actually do prefer the Performance Center recruits, the NXT people in the crowd. Like, it just made some sense of realism, like something is really there. You see what I mean? Like, this whole screen thing, it's just like them watching TV, but we can see them watching TV. And I just don't feel like it really added anything, you know. I guess it's a good positive step towards getting fans back into the arena, but yeah, it didn't really work for me. I don't really see this as something that will grow on me either, but if it makes the performers feel like they're being watched and they have, you know, people to actually perform to, then I guess that is one of the more important things. So yeah, it's good that they launched this. Personally, didn't do anything for me. What did you guys think of the WWE Thunderdome? Put your comments down below. I'd love to see other people's opinions on it. Right, getting into the show. The show opened with Vince McMahon, and he was obviously here welcoming us to the Thunderdome. But to be honest, that was about it. Shortly after that, The Fiend came out. And it's like, oh, what's gonna happen now? Is The Fiend gonna attack Vince McMahon? That didn't happen either. Vince just more or less vanished, and then Braun Strowman came out. Braun Strowman and The Fiend had like a cat and mouse game being chased all over the arena during the show, so I guess we'll touch on that. But the use of Vince here, I think, could have just been so much better. Is The Fiend gonna attack him? Furthermore, like I had said on my Instagram, WrestleManiac UK, follow if you're not following, I had said that Retribution should take this as an opportunity to attack Vince McMahon. We didn't get that. Vince was gone. Braun and The Fiend left in the ring. Retribution then came, surrounded the ring completely. The Fiend waved goodbye to Braun, went to black, came back, Fiend was gone. Braun was left alone in the ring, Retribution attacked. I think just going back a bit, even when Retribution was surrounding the ring with The Fiend and Braun in the ring, they didn't seem fazed. They were laughing, which somehow still buries Retribution. Like, people aren't even scared of them at this point. It's just like, what are they doing here? What is their purpose? Retribution then got into the ring, attacked Braun as he was the only one left in the ring. We started seeing the Smackdown locker room led by Big E. Some other people were there. Chad Gable ran down to have his back. Some more superstars followed, and sooner or later they chased away Retribution from the ring. And from there we got into our first match on the night. It was Sheamus versus Big E. Okay match, a lot of other things were going on. The Smackdown superstars were still surrounding the ring. People were looking out for Retribution. Again, I was a bit distracted by watching, you know, the screen and everything, looking at what's going on in the crowd. And during the match, Baron Corbin laid an attack on Matt Riddle, telling Shorty G, this is how you do it, this is how you get it done. That then descended into some chaos outside the ring with all the superstars around involved. Sheamus got distracted, Big E rolled him up, and Big E got the win. We move on to Shinsuke Nakamura and Cesaro versus Lucha House Party for the tag team championships. And backstage before they went out, Kalisto was really gearing up Lince Dorado and Gran Metalik. He really wanted them to win, and we saw Cesaro and Shinsuke lay a little attack on them backstage. Anyway, we got down to the match, and again it was really interesting. Gran Metalik seemed to carry the majority of this match. There was a few little missteps and botches here and there between him and Cesaro. To be honest, I just think that as quick as Cesaro is, Gran Metalik was just a bit quicker, so things weren't maybe falling, you know, straight into place like a jigsaw sort of thing. Lince Dorado was tagged in, and after a long kind of back and forth, different pinning combinations and attempts, Cesaro eventually got the pin on Lince Dorado. So those guys retained the SmackDown Tag Team Championships, and outside we're getting camera shots of Kalisto just losing it. Like, Kalisto was going crazy, and Kalisto eventually threw down his cape, his little jacket thing he was wearing with the cape attached. He got into the ring, he was laying into Lince Dorado. Lince wasn't having it, he was giving it back. Gran Metalik came in to kind of split up the two. I thought for sure we're seeing maybe Kalisto turn heel here, gonna turn on the group, you know. The segment didn't really lead to much, just ended with the three guys arguing with each other in the ring, but it's gonna be interesting to see where they go from here. SmackDown already doesn't have like a lot of tag teams, so I just don't know what they're doing, splitting up another one basically, but we'll see how that goes. We had a segment with Sonya Deville and Mandy Rose, which was a really interesting segment, and I'm gonna get onto it in a minute. But guys, if you haven't already, please hit the thumbs up button if you're enjoying this review. Give us a like, it does a lot for the channel and I thoroughly appreciate it. So we had Mandy Rose backstage basically kind of going back on all her fury and all her madness with Sonya Deville and saying, look Sonya, I know you're a good person, let's basically just squash it. I don't want this to go any further. Come and speak to me, let's just end this here. Kayla Braxton backstage caught up with Sonya Deville, and Sonya more or less refused to talk to Kayla and said, anything I've got to say, I'm going to say it to the world, not to you, Kayla. Dana Brooke came over to chat to Sonya Deville, mainly to offer her well wishes to her. Obviously Sonya Deville's had a rough week with the kidnapping thing, they kind of brought that into this story now. And Sonya Deville just kind of said, I'll deal with it, I don't need your sorry, and gave Dana Brooke the hottest slap ever. Guys, like, I couldn't believe it. Like, Sonya Deville's packaging, everything about her, the suit she's wearing, like, it's perfect. She is so good right now. Sonya Deville went out to the arena and basically said, listen, I don't even want to hear anything you're saying, Mandy Rose. We're not squashing this, and I can't just deal with a hair versus hair because it's not enough. I don't want to even see you. So the match stipulation has changed. I don't think it's a hair versus hair match anymore. It's now a no disqualification match, and the loser leaves WWE. Big stakes on the line now. I do think that the result isn't going to change. I think Sonya is going to leave WWE, and when we say leave, it's not necessarily leave. I think she's going to use this time to take some time off. Obviously she was just involved in that kidnapping scandal, so maybe she just needs some time off to recuperate, regather, move her home, because I guess no one wants to live where they've been stalked and people know where they live. So yeah, maybe Sonya's got a couple things to do off screen that she needs to deal with, and then she'll come back eventually. But this is really captivating. It's a great storyline, and yeah, and I hope Sonya's really doing well. Mandy Rose was also with her at the time when it happened. I hope both women are doing really well. And yeah, this is going to be the culmination of what has been a really good story. We had Bayley and Sasha Banks come out to the ring, and they were being interviewed by Corey Graves, asking them about their friendship still, all the other kind of stuff, looking like he's trying to stir the pot a bit. He then got on to asking them about who's going to have the first match against Asuka. Bayley said that it'll be her, and I can't remember the exact reason why, but Sasha didn't take it too well. And then while they were deliberating who was going to go up first against Sasha at SummerSlam, Naomi came down, and Naomi said, look, you're both going to take on the same person in the night, let me tune you up, let me get in the ring with both of you tonight, and let's see how this goes. Bayley and Sasha were laughing at her, saying, you must have a death wish if you want to take us both on tonight. But then Corey kind of threw in the stipulation that if we make it a beat the clock challenge, and whoever beats Naomi quickest is the second person to take on Asuka at SummerSlam, it kind of gave the match some meaning, and then both women seemed that they were up for it. So first we had Naomi versus Sasha Banks, and Sasha Banks got the win in 3 minutes 30 seconds, something like that. Then we had Bayley come in, and what really should have just been an easy pickings for Bayley against Naomi. Naomi actually beat Bayley, which is very interesting. So because Bayley didn't even beat Naomi in the first place, Sasha will actually take on Asuka second at SummerSlam. And Sasha was laughing and smiling behind Bayley's back. She was very happy with that result. And I think this has also done good for Naomi, because I assume Bayley will retain against Asuka at SummerSlam. Now Naomi might have a cause to, you know, be the #1 contender for the SmackDown Women's Championship once we all get back to SmackDown after SummerSlam. The segment ended with Asuka coming down to the ring and attacking both ladies standing tall. So yeah, I really can't wait to see. I don't know how they're going to get themselves out of this. Asuka has 2 championship matches at SummerSlam. Guys, if you want to see my predictions for what I think is going to happen, it's up on the channel. I was joined with the boys from Wrestlings. We done a prediction show, so check it out on my channel. The last match we had on the show was Jeff Hardy versus AJ Styles for the Intercontinental Championship. Now, during Retribution's attack, I didn't say it before, but I'm gonna say it now. AJ Styles actually laid an attack on Jeff Hardy. Jeff Hardy thought it was by one of the Retribution guys, but when they played the camera back, we saw it was actually AJ Styles that had given Jeff Hardy a knee injury. So Jeff Hardy was all braced up going into this Intercontinental Championship match, and he sold the knee so well. You know, Jeff Hardy has always been spoke of, him, Dolph Ziggler, some of the best sellers in WWE, and he really sold this knee injury. Times when he would go up to the top rope, he just fell over completely, was hobbling around the ring during most of his entrance and the match. It was just so good, and of course AJ Styles, ever the opportunist, was just aiming for that knee every single time, pulling Jeff Hardy down, bringing him down, slamming him on his leg. It was really good, a really well told story in the ring by both guys. However, it worked against AJ Styles, because in the finish, AJ Styles was going for the Styles Clash. Jeff Hardy kind of flipped himself over, as you do when you're in a Star Clash, and hit AJ Styles in the head with the bad leg, which obviously had the knee brace on it. I think it even busted up AJ just lower down in his face, maybe gave him a cut or so. And then from this point on, Jeff Hardy was in the ascendancy. Hit AJ Styles with a twist of fate, went up top, managed to balance himself and pulled off the Swanton Bomb. 1, 2, 3, Jeff Hardy is the new Intercontinental Champion. Didn't see that coming, did not see that coming at all. And this is the point where I said, you know, some people in the crowd, it seemed like maybe they were in sync with what was going on in the ring, saw it happen, they were celebrating, you saw some people cheering, you saw some people clapping, some people were just stonewalled, you know, just looking. Maybe that's how they watch SmackDown, I don't know, but this is what I mean. It doesn't really give a great sense of, yeah, they're excited, you know, when they're just standing still in the crowd basically, or sitting still watching what's happening in the ring. So yeah, Jeff Hardy's the new Intercontinental Champion. The show finished off with a Firefly Funhouse segment where the puppets were basically acting out what happened last week between Braun and Alexa. It was quite funny the way they done it. Bray Wyatt came in and broke them up because it looked like they were about to kiss, and he was telling them, look, that never happened. And he was telling them that never happened. The Rambling Rabbit said that, you know, he was getting carried away. He dismissed both of the puppets anyway. And just as it looked like Bray was about to finish off his promo, he started smelling the air, and he knew there was another presence amongst him. Braun Strowman ran in and laid an attack on Bray Wyatt in the Firefly Funhouse. Now, in my opinion, the attack was a bit pathetic. Yes, he knocked him down the first time, but the second time, you could just see Braun was just doing this in the camera, not hitting anyone, no sound was being made. It's just like, it was so poor. Like, come on, these two are about to rip their heads off for the Universal title, and you can't even have like some real physicality, or at least put in some sound effects. Like, come on, it was really badly done. Braun dragged him out anyway. Michael Cole and Corey Graves on commentary were making a big deal that, you know, this is basically an alternative universe, and Braun Strowman has found where the Firefly Funhouse is, beat up Bray Wyatt in it, and now he's pulling him out. They were having a bit of a brawl backstage. Braun Strowman, getting back to his regular monster self, choke slammed Bray Wyatt off like a ledge onto like a lower ground area, walked off. Bray Wyatt was more or less out of it. All the backstage producers came and were helping Bray Wyatt into a nearby ambulance. Now, at one point, he was in the ambulance and being driven off, and I knew exactly what was gonna happen. It was really predictable, but it wasn't an issue anyway. We'll get onto that in a second. When the camera panned round, when the ambulance was reversing and showed all the producers and people that were back up on the ledge, I said to myself, all these people on the ledge, who are they? They're not wrestlers. Obviously, there's no fans in the building. There wouldn't be fans backstage anyway. These are clearly the faces of the people in Retribution. They were all wearing black trousers, all of them, but obviously no one had hoodies on or anything like that. I looked back, I looked to see if I could see any faces that I recognized. Nobody, obviously, it was all like extras and stuff like that. But I'm pretty sure those are the Retribution people now acting as extras in the back. Anyway, like I was saying, the ambulance that was supposed to leave the arena and take Bray Wyatt to hospital or the local medical facility reversed back to the scene of the crime. And when all the producers, Adam Pearce backstage, was like, where are you going? What's going on here? All of a sudden, the lights in the ambulance turned red. the ambulance doors burst open and the Fiend is standing at the back. So Bray Wyatt basically transformed to the Fiend in the back of the ambulance. Smoke was coming out, and the one thing I really hated here, as the cameraman was getting closer to the Fiend for the close-up, the Fiend looked dead into the camera. I don't think the Fiend should be acknowledging there's a camera there, just look beyond it. That really kind of irked me. But yeah, the show more or less ended there. The Fiend versus Braun Strowman has really heated up in recent weeks. I did feel there was a bit of missteps in their story this past week, but I am interested in the match and I do predict that we're going to get a Fiend win. So guys, that was my SmackDown review. There were some good points in it. I did think that this was a bit of a slow go home show. I really did like the Sasha Banks and Bayley stuff. Those two are coming to a loggerhead again. They seem to have patched things up in the last couple of months, but now they're really kind of, when the pressure's on, they're crumbling. They are definitely crumbling. Sonya Deville and Mandy Rose, I am looking forward to that match. Sonya Deville has just been absolutely brilliant, so entertaining to watch. Again, I wish her all the well wishes in the world with the situation her and Mandy kind of went through. So I hope they're going to be good, and I hope she's going to get the send off that this feud deserves. Again, like I said earlier, I've got a predictions episode on my channel that I did with wrestling, so do go and check that out. And for those of you that were around when SummerSlam 2000 happened, I've done a review of SummerSlam 2000, which is also on my channel, so check that out. Guys, if you enjoyed this review, please make sure you leave a thumbs up, give us a like, and if you're new here, welcome. Make sure you hit the subscribe button on your way out and click the notification bell so you get notified every time I drop a new video. WrestleManiac UK signing out, and I'll see you soon.